it.
You're listening to the Jersey Tuck Podcast.
Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. Incredible save. He robbed him. Call it cop. He robbed Billboard blind. Call it cop. I don't believe it.
Hello out there, and welcome to the Jersey Tuck Podcast, episode 2. We're back with the same old cast, the same lovely cast. We got Tyrell, Josh, Fred, and Mitch. How's it going, boys?
Living the dream.
Wait.
Was that a burp?
It's a fake burp.
So now we are officially live on Twitch. If I didn't mess something up really badly, I believe it should go smooth. We'll see how that goes. We are on YouTube, so make sure to check out the show there after. Or if you missed the first show, make sure to go and check there. Please subscribe. Follow us on Spotify. We're on all the platforms now, so we're all set. We're all good to go. Maybe merch coming soon. Who knows? 2 episodes in, we got merch. We're very arrogant individuals.
Ambitious.
I love it.
Aiming high.
So we got a couple of sports variety topics, just as usual. But actually, I don't know if you want to get us started, Josh. There was a trade that happened within the last hour.
So it's funny because Fred and I had a conversation about this earlier today, and we were just kind of talking about like the toils of Alex Galchenyuk trying to establish himself in Montreal and then playing for essentially every team in the league before he retires. And he just got traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs. So he's at what now? Six teams?
Seven.
7 teams. So it's unprecedented territory at his age. It's right now. But we'll see how that works out. Like the guy's got a lot of skill, but he's a terrible defensive player. So coaches don't seem to like him for long. So we'll see.
You have to look at it this way too. Like Toronto's been having a few injuries, so why not have a little depth for? He's pretty cheap, so why not?
That's what I look at it like too. Like it's a depth move for now, especially in a year like with COVID and whatnot, like the protocol. Like I think they're
depth move for the Marlies is about it.
Yeah, so he was traded from Ottawa to Carolina. Did he even make it to Carolina? Because
I don't even think he made it to Carolina.
So I can see it being one of those deals too, that because he hasn't even left Ottawa yet, like he won't have to go through the whole protocol coming into the country.
No,
probably States, right? So like there's all these little tiny things, and I think he's on like a minimum deal too, like a league minimum. It's just something that makes it easier for Toronto to fit the cap. So
I'd say Carolina told him not even to bother coming down, that they're going to flip him.
That their deal with the trip, like that involved him, it was mostly for Cedric Paquette too. Like I think that was the entirety of what they wanted out of that deal. I think Galchenyuk was a throw-in. So
they're like, "Do you want him?" They're like, "No." It's like, but you got to take him. They're like, "Oh, fine."
Fine. All right.
Please.
Well, I'm getting a bag of pucks. They're like, "All right, fine. I'm getting a bag of pucks."
So would you guys consider him a piece that does he have anything to add depth-wise? Can you plug him in and get some productivity out of this individual at this point in his career?
I think you could. Like, he's going to give you a bit of offensive, like, potential, but
there's no reason why he can't score 15 goals in a season.
Yeah.
Like,
park him in front of the net and shoot at him, and one of the ones going to go off and went in.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of skill. Like he's a former 3rd overall pick. Like there's a reason why he was taken that high.
He was a 30-goal scorer for the Habs.
Yeah, it just never panned out.
Was he actually?
Yeah.
Yes.
Jesus.
That was his sophomore season.
No way. I really didn't think
excellent.
He touched anything like that.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So obviously it's there.
It was his defense, man. Like I don't know if it's his line mates or he just. I don't understand.
Yakupov was the same way, and they were line mates in junior, so it's probably just a mentality thing, to be honest with you.
All skill, man.
I'm going to address one of the bigger topics, I guess, when you look at the grand scale of things this week. Early-ish on, a couple of, I'd say 5-ish days ago, it was mandated by the NBA that every team has to play the anthem before every game. Now, it's funny because Mark Cuban and the Dallas Mavericks have not been playing it ever since preseason, I believe. So, good few games into the season, and no one seemed to notice. No one seemed to care until there was an article by The Athletic, basically, praising it, saying it's a bold move and it's just something different. Just, proper journalism about the subject. And that got shared by, all the big media and stuff like that. And sure enough, obviously the association called up Mark Cuban. He's like, probably start playing the anthem now. So, Tyrell, what do you think? Do you think that it would have caused a big uproar in the end, considering the NBA's audience? Or do you think that the majority of people just won't care, as Mark Cuban probably theorized?
I mean, until you bring attention to it, I don't think anybody will really care. However, they scolded Kaepernick for years just by sitting.
Yep.
So, but the difference between Kaepernick and Cuban is Cuban's a white guy. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honestly, I think it's a discussion that Cuban's trying to, bring forward and keep the whole BLM movement going in his own little way. And I think it's, good for him. I think his team, I think it was Willie Cauley-Stein said he felt supported by Cuban, and a bunch of them share the same sentiments. So honestly, I think it's whatever he chooses, it was a good move by him.
I think regardless of what you think of Mark Cuban, like, he's definitely very progressive. He's one of the more progressive owners
in all sports.
Yeah. So he's definitely just trying to push that forward.
Fred, as a hockey fan, primarily, what do you think about anthems before games?
I don't know. It might be a little bit different in the whole scheme of say Canadian and American, but I know for a fact if I'm watching a Leafs and Habs game and they sing the national anthem, everyone's getting up and it's one of those things too. It never got big until, like you said, until people noticed it, right? Once people started talking about it, when you were watching the games, did you notice that the anthem was being sung? Probably not.
No.
I know that it is in the hockey world because they plant it right in front of the screen, the singer, and you just have to,
And
I don't know.
If I could just jump in there for a second, I'm pretty sure on a lot of broadcasts, especially if ESPN picks up the game or something like that, if it's a nationally televised game, I'm not even sure if they show the anthem. I don't think they do.
I was gonna say the same thing though, Alex. I've seen hockey games where I don't know if it's TSN's broadcast or sometimes they just skip over the anthem.
Yeah.
I've seen it go straight to puck drop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Most of the times they do now, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Unless it's a headlining kind of event, a normal weekday game. It's the anthem will skip right over. But
I know they can't. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. No, go ahead, Taro.
I know Cuban was saying they can't have live performances anymore because of COVID. So I think a lot of people just stopped.
Yeah. The only thing I like about anthems, it gives a showcase for a certain talent to sing. Besides that, I think it's friggin' stupid, to be honest with you. All teams are made up of international people who could give, if I'm playing for a team down the States as a Canadian, I could give less of a shit if the American national anthem means anything to me. I highly doubt a Russian. I highly doubt Ovechkin feels great pride and honor when the American national anthem was blaring, especially when he first started. Maybe now it means a little more.
Bust out that Russian anthem.
Yeah, and it only makes sense to me when it's a national team playing. You play their national anthem. It doesn't make sense. If you want to play a provincial, the province's anthem for the province's team, or if the state's team, sure. But I don't know. It's just weird to me, especially with international sports are made up of internationals. I don't know. I think it's stupid.
It's definitely an aspect of sports that's really deep rooted and mostly it's mostly in the United States. There's there's a very I don't know, a big like
It's just a
I'm
cultural
black.
link to the
Yeah,
flag
like-
and the anthem. A very
Yeah.
heavy.
Always, and it's almost like if you make any sort of change, it's an attack on America. So
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
it's
Don't you take our flag.
Mitch,
I was
Mitch,
reading something. Oh,
go ahead, Taro.
I was reading something earlier. It was a good like critique of it, I guess. That, like everyone's saying you got to play the national anthem before every sports event ever. But it's like, what do you you're going to do that for every movie, every play, every other form of entertainment?
Yeah.
Like
where you draw the
same
line,
thing,
right?
really.
And, a couple of you guys brought it up that it's a national thing. Like the only time where I see it completely appropriate is the Olympics.
Yeah.
Like the Olympics is fine and dandy because it represents everyone that's competing at that particular time. And that's.
Yeah, but they only play the winner. They don't play both sides.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Which makes sense as well. I mean, you
it
get
does
to
make
hear your
sense.
anthem if you win.
Yeah, and you play the anthem after, not before.
Yeah, I don't know. It just makes sense. And then you show respect, kind of, I guess, like, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense if you're on Team Canada, Team USA for whatever tournament or whatever championship you're playing in. But, I mean, I don't know.
And I will say I was surprised at Cuban because apparently he had the go ahead. For decisions for pregame ceremonies, you have to have some degree of confirmation from officials, from higher ups, and he had a discussion with Adam Silver, and it was obviously fine. And then Silver came back and said, probably not. And Cuban was cool with it. Apparently he complied right away. I was a bit surprised about that, that he didn't kick up a little bit of a stink. But
he's trying to walk a line, right?
Yeah.
He's trying to walk a line. I think he wants to be progressive, but at the same time, too, he's got to kind of maintain relationships at a different level when it comes to ownership and running teams, right? So
I'd say that conversation went, let's see how far we can go without anyone noticing. And once they do, flip it back.
Yeah,
And
it just depends, dude. Like, it's only so progressive you can get in Texas. Like,
That's true.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They definitely called him up like right after that Athletic article came up. Just started chuckling to each other. Like, we got a couple games in.
Yeah, no, definitely, like Tyrell said, it's a ballsy move of all states to do it in. That's probably one of the more ballsier ones to do it in.
Yeah, and it is funny because like you guys said, he is one of the more progressive owners of the league in that state. So it's funny how it is. Let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little trash once again about Bell. More cuts this week. In the world,
weirdly timed,
in the world of radio, Bell has put the axe to a lot of TSN provincial stations, I guess you could call, and those things are fairly treasured, man, because they have consistent broadcasters that are on every day that people get to know and tightly knit in the community, always talking about their team, really passionate about it, and just axe. So, Josh, what do you think about these cuts just keep coming down from TSN? Do you think any more are going to come down?
The first thing that came to mind, now correct me if I'm wrong too, like they did all these cuts and the timing of this was kind of ridiculous because we talked about it right after it happened the first time and then right after the last pod the second came. But like it's kind of ridiculous. Like first they did a bunch of layoffs and then right after that, now, and I don't think they laid off people first and then cut the stations. They just cut the stations, and a lot of people were kind of left like, oh, I guess I don't have a job now.
Right.
It was literally just like, yeah, it's done. It's like, well, what do I do? Like, it's kind of crazy, to be honest with you. Like, I think we talked about it, like saying the same thing last week. Like do these, like, of all companies, is like Bell one of those ones that really were hit hard? Like they still had a like high dividend payout. Like they did well on their fourth quarter and then come into this year and just cut everybody. Like from COVID, like how can you see, like Bell's not one of the hardest ones hit from the pandemic, right? Like they're still making their money. Like they're like TV and broadcasting and all that.
You'd think it would do better.
Consistent. Yeah, exactly. Like it was consistent through the whole thing. Right?
I know they're making money because I'm looking at my friggin' bill every goddamn month.
I think it's confirmed at this point that Mitch is the Charles Barkley of this panel.
100%. Just salty.
Anyone have any more thoughts on the cuts?
I got a quick one. How are they deciding which ones they're cutting? Like the three that they picked, if I'm you correct me guys if I'm wrong, I'm thinking towards Vancouver, Winnipeg, and Hamilton. Like why those three? Like
Hamilton makes sense to me because it's so close to
Toronto, right?
Toronto, the Ontario region, but
they just subsidized it to Toronto.
But I mean, that far out west, it seems like you're cutting off a presence there to have, a leg in that out far west. And now you don't have a presence there at all. It's kind of weird.
It is weird.
Do you expect, do you think this is this is foreshadowing, a bit foreboding, there's more to come with TSN or Bell? You know what I mean? They don't own the rights to the NHL. I don't know what else they have. They don't have broadcasting rights and whatnot. They're definitely not making money right now.
It's really weird because
the NHL.
It really makes you wonder because on the outside looking in, broadcast media, sports, you'd think it's doing well. So who knows? Who knows really what comes next? Especially after big people like Damerka. Go ahead, Tyrell.
Does Bell have any streaming services? I know, with the lockdowns and all that, everything's been up. But I thought it was just mostly streaming services kind of thing too.
Fred and I had it. We had at least I don't know if you still have it, Fred, but TSN Direct.
Yeah, I still have it.
Yeah, Sportsnet now, similar kind of deal.
Oh, okay.
But Sportsnet is Rogers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so TSN Direct is the Bell counterpart to that. And I don't. It doesn't make much sense to me, but they definitely don't have the same strong stranglehold, especially in Canada. When it comes to Rogers has Sportsnet and they own the rights to the NHL. So I guess maybe that's a thing. Yeah. Maybe that's hit them hard. They don't. Right. They're not getting as much subscriptions and whatnot because they don't have that ability to broadcast games. So.
Let's keep on the topic of departure. So let's keep it depressing here on the Jersey Talk podcast. JJ Watt has been released from the Texans this week. He published a little video, basically, I don't know if you'd call it just explaining his decision, or just giving kind of an exit speech to the fans. It was on Twitter. Very well said, very professional. As I've said, I feel like that's how you should go out. If you are to say, I don't want to be a part of this organization anymore, at least just communicate something. Just say something. So, of course, it makes you think of two other Houston individuals that didn't do so well at that thing. Deshaun Watson, James Harden. And oddly enough, James Harden, I think, hours later. Now, obviously, it was filmed prior, but the quotes came out from that Rachel Nichols interview with James Harden saying something to the degree of lots of respect for Houston, just surface stuff. Have any thoughts of Houston?
I honestly, to be fair, Alex, I do a lot actually. I enjoy the teams, and especially the Texans, Deshaun Watson, but I think they're all kind of different situations. Mm-hmm. I know you can always chalk it up and say the two franchises are having a really hard time right now. But I think Deshaun Watson is seeing frustrations from underperforming teams.
Yeah.
That's where his frustrations come from. And I think he's looking at his career hey, I want to kickstart it. I want to go somewhere where I can win. Right. Or they're going to actually, maybe he wants more say and whatnot. He's easily a top 5 quarterback, I think, in the league.
Yeah.
Right. So
and that's the thing. It's crazy.
JJ Watt, someone on the other end of the spectrum, he's looking at it I don't think I'm going to be able to win a Super Bowl in Houston. I'm towards the end of my career. He's not the same JJ Watt that he was 5 years ago, right? He's not as dominant.
Or he's half a robot at this point.
Yeah, he's
got that cool robot arm.
Yeah. So it's two different players, and then James Harden. I think I don't even know what to say about James Harden. That's a whole other thing too. So I don't know. I think the Texans, I'm not even sold right now on whether or not they're even going to let Deshaun Watson go.
They're holding out for sure.
Yeah, they're holding on to him, and I might actually get to see JJ Watt on. I was going to say TJ Watt, but JJ Watt on in a Packers uniform is a possibility right now.
Yeah,
go home to
he's from there,
which is
pretty cool.
Yeah, there is talk to join his brother, right?
Teams are going after him right now.
What was that, Fred?
How many teams do you think are going after him right now?
I think there's a fair amount, but what's funny is we're talking like there's on this podcast right now. There's a Bills fan and a Green Bay Packers fan, and I think both teams are top front runners to try to get someone like JJ Watt on their team. So
he's a nice little asset to have. He still gets production. You still get production, and he's an absolute leader. So he'll lead your defense wherever you plug him in, and he's a veteran, so he can memorize the playbook, that kind of thing. Tyrell, do you have any thoughts on especially comparing the two, JJ Watt and the departure of James Harden?
It's definitely more graceful. That's for sure. No, it just seems like the whole city of Houston's going to be in their full rebuild across all the spectrums. I don't know how they're doing in baseball right now, but
they've just recently moved two of their guys to the Jays. One of their guys to the Jays.
Okay, fair enough. All across
the board. All across the board, but as you said, Josh, they are trying to hold on to Deshaun Watson. We'll see how far they get with that.
You know what? They might be able to convince them. Like, you never know. These teams do this all the time. You have someone like a franchise quarterback like Deshaun Watson. Like, they might try to give him somewhat of a say in like team building or like. And I don't say that in like everyone getting together and having fun. I mean like team building in the sense like
constructing your team. Yeah.
Like the construction, right? And say like, what do you want? What do you need? Right? It's like maybe they can win him back. I don't think the book is closed on that. And
I really
don't have
hope
any
not.
Inside information.
As a fan, I really hope not. I need something positive out of that team right now, and I'm not getting it at the moment. We'll see where it goes.
You're probably not going to get anything out of it either.
I'll just throw my jersey in the garbage. Let's switch to a little fun topic here now. Last week we talked about the Super Bowl. This week we talk about the Super Bowl party.
Boat party.
It was a parade on boats. So
I love it.
Tampa did it too. I'd say Tampa Lightning, right?
Stamkos and the boys.
I will say, thinking about it now, I guess I didn't think about it when I saw it first. It's not a bad idea, especially optics wise when you're looking at COVID. I know apparently each of the families were either vaccinated or tested prior to the parade, but still it's just kind of weird either way. But much better than parading down a street.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's definitely different.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very Florida.
It's very Florida. That's exactly it.
You can just watch your fans drown instead of just standing there. So that's not good.
I'm actually surprised that that's not something that we heard more of. Like accidents, like people falling
drowning
off of boats, or just in general, right? It's like a parade, like people falling off of boats and there's accidents and
someone hops the friggin' the dock and starts swimming towards Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Security starts shooting at him.
Taser in the water, like.
These seasons float up on the top.
They didn't pan out to see the multiple bodies just floating off to the side, and they had the tase trying to make it.
Again, very Florida. But what the thing that made it viral was Brady's decision. I don't know if it's very Brady-like, but he heaved the LomBrady trophy. It wasn't to Gronk. I can't remember who it was to, but it was caught. But from one boat to another, just in one graceful. Hey, if you want anyone to do it, it's the quarterback. So
it has a football on it. It's meant to be thrown.
That's right.
It was the avocado tequila.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What's even better was the video afterwards of Brady leaving.
Oh, absolutely loaded.
Oh, man.
Just dragging him.
He was feeling so good though. The fucking smile on his face. Shit-eating grin. Didn't care.
Yeah, the definition of it. Shit-eating grin.
So
one never feels that good every time. Like every time. I
good
just
point.
felt good that.
I feel like he doesn't let go very often, and that was one of the few times he did, and he was loving in life.
See, last week we talked about the weird dynamic of him and Gronk. That's when it's at its pinnacle. Right at Super Bowl party. That's when you see the real Brady. But one thing I want to talk about with that is Lorraine Gross. I apologize if I said her last name incorrectly, but the daughter of the original silversmith that constructed the trophy wants an apology because she feels disgusted at the disrespect shown by Tom Brady. What are your thoughts on that, Fred? Do you think it's disrespectful to heave a trophy?
Like, okay, clearly she don't know what happens to these trophies, whether it be, NFL, NHL, like everyone like poured booze and they're like, come on, like.
And I gotta be honest too, like at this point it's Tom Brady's trophy. Like he owns it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Like we were joking about it, they're gonna name it after him eventually.
It's gonna be.
They might as well make a new trophy. Just let him take that one home
every year.
Yeah, exactly.
The LomBrady trophy.
Hashtag.
I just want to know, where was she the year they won it and Gronk bunted a baseball pitch with it and dented it?
I forgot about that.
Like,
oh my god!
Why is tossing the trophy a big deal, but friggin' bunting a baseball pitch?
Oh my god!
To further what Fred was saying too, like she clearly doesn't know what happens to these trophies. Like the Newfoundland Growlers destroyed their trophy in a strip club.
Sure, I remember, and this is mild, definitely compared to what happened to the Stanley Cup, but I remember when Ryder won the Stanley Cup with the Bruins, and he brought it here. They set it up on a table for a photo op, and I guess it was some crappy IKEA table. It fell apart and dented the crap out of the Stanley Cup. And that's definitely mild compared to what's happened to the Stanley Cup. That thing has probably had anything and everything go through it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100% pee. 100% piss.
Oh, 100%.
Oh, definitely.
Someone peed in that bowl. I poop too.
Hey.
Everything.
The poopy bowl.
Poopy bowl.
The Stanley poop.
This is a child's podcast.
Get me on it.
So I'll say this live. We're not cool enough to have the juicy Zoom subscription yet. So if it does drop off, we're gonna come back for whatever amount of the show that we have to fill. So we'll work with that as it comes up. But that's enough about the trophy. What a weird situation. Did you guys happen to see? It was a few weeks back now, but did you guys happen to see Shaq when he was on TNT interviewing Donovan Mitchell?
So I did see this. I watched this today, actually.
Taro, what are your thoughts on this?
Shaq's just been going hard at just every young guy in the league, and then someone, I can't remember who it was, if it was Chuck or someone called him out, and now he's, instead of being like explaining himself, he just doubled down on it even more, and it's like attacking Donovan Mitchell. He's been picking on what's his name from Utah forever. Gobert.
Yeah.
God, yeah. No, I don't know if I agree, but
so for those who haven't seen it, just real quick, it's essentially, it was after. Oh,
you're good.
All right. Well,
we're still here.
You're good.
For those who haven't seen it, it's a post-game interview with Donovan Mitchell. The Jazz are absolutely, to this day, killing it in the regular season, like doing incredibly well. But it was a interview with Donovan Mitchell, great player, very, very, very talented player, and Shaq it just seems to come out of nowhere. Shaq's just like, I want you to know my real thoughts on you. I don't think you're as good as you can be, and I don't think you have what it takes to win. It's like,
Alex, I gotta say, like, because I had a funny thought about this today when I watched it. I had like this vibe that it was like Papa Shaq. Like he's changing his tune, and now he's trying to motivate players and young players through trying to push them harder.
There was
that's the vibe I got through it. Like he was like he's like, because the way that he answered, he was like, yeah, that's the answer I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But it seemed like it caught Donovan Mitchell off guard, and he was kind of like bummed about
He
it.
just said
You
okay.
see it
He was
just,
like, yeah.
yeah.
No, first
He's like,
he's like,
I've been hearing that my whole life.
There was
But then he's like, I'm just gonna get better. He's like, that's what I wanted to hear, kind of thing. Like,
there was a player before who Shaq, not to that degree, not rude and upfront like that. Shaq has said like, I think you could be better. I can't remember who it was at this point, but obviously they improved and they took it as motivation. But Shaq said during that week, that's how he motivates players. But I just thought that came across as completely unnecessary, especially after a nice win and just the wrong way of doing it. And you could tell Donovan Mitchell thought the same. Like, it wasn't like, oh yeah, I'll show you. He was like, dude, that's just rude. Like, I just won a game, right? Any other closing thoughts on that one?
Wasn't Shaq like that to even like Kobe? Like, he would like being teammates, he would chirp him like that, and then Kobe would be like, "Yeah, fuck you." Like, I'm the
more so.
I'm Kobe Bryant.
More so, Kobe with Shaq. Kobe would get mad at Shaq because he was an
Kobe was
athletic
notorious for
freak.
that.
He would eat McDonald's, stay up super late, and then like put up insane numbers the day later. And Kobe's just gym all the time, focus, looking for advice from his mentors. So it used to frustrate him. Their styles were just completely clashing. Let's see. What else do we have here for this week on the Jersey Tuck podcast? Outdoor NHL game. Mitch, the Avalanche debut some interesting new jerseys. Thoughts?
Sexy AF. It's the Nordiques throwback, and they're
so
the best
cool.
retros that out of all the teams they did this year.
I think they are.
It's pretty amazing.
100%.
Gorgeous.
Yeah. Oh man.
I'm pretty excited about it, man. Being in like Tahoe, like,
Yeah.
how are they gonna do all that? I'm so pumped to see. It's gonna be great.
It's such a cool idea.
Yeah, they're doing it. I guess they're building the rink. It's not on the actual lake, to the disappointment of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare at the end of the beginning of the year. Burakovsky mid press conference, he was talking about how excited he was to play on the lake, and then Burakovsky stops like, "We're not playing on the lake." He's like, "What? We're not playing on the lake. It's lakeside. We're playing in like the main rink." He's like,
"What the hell?"
"Oh man,
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, that's I don't know. I think it should be cool. They're doing it's back to back. So Saturday evening or afternoon, sorry, it's Colorado and Vegas. I think they're both probably wearing their retros, and that'll be Colorado. Vegas already wore their retros, I think.
I was gonna say, wait, Vegas has a retro?
Yeah, it's yeah.
The team has been around for what? 3 years.
One thing though, that was brought up, and no one Vegas hasn't even brought it up about. But I saw a tweet the other day, and the design, like the kind of like the cutting V logo, how it cuts down, is actually to an old league, old Vegas team, like that. The cut of the design, which is weird, and I don't understand why. I don't know if there's some kind of rights there or not, but like no one's ever actually brought attention to that this is what it's drawn on. But someone actually brought up the jersey comparison the other day. I was like, okay, well,
nice.
Why would you not kind of bring that up and try and drive home that this is a retro and just, but for some reason, someone had to kind of dig it up for some reason. But yeah, so Saturday, Colorado and Vegas playing Lake Tahoe, and then I think Philly and Boston on Sunday, I think it is.
Cool,
I do like those kind of shout outs to other teams that aren't exactly the same franchise. Like Toronto did a Huskies jersey a little bit ago, and just like
those were sick
area shout outs. Yeah, I thought it was really cool. And I think Toronto, they were doing a branding change, and there was actually rumors that they changed the name of the Huskies for a little bit. I can't remember how long ago that was. Anyone see the Vegas Golden Buckets?
Oh my god, like those things are so distracting.
Oh
like,
man.
If I was the other team, I would hate it.
I'd have a migraine.
Oh my god. I know, man. Like
yeah. It's like
my favorite part was all the memes where they put the weekend in it when he's like
it's the reflection in the gold.
I died, man. It was so good. It was so
my god.
I just hate how the gold doesn't match the gold in the jerseys. That's what irks me the most.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
It's like plated shiny gold versus like a matte gold on their jerseys, so it just
Mitch, I just hate that they're wearing gold helmets. Like, come on. Like, it was an eyesore. It reminded me of when Sweden won the freaking, what was it, the World Junior gold medal, and they all came out wearing gold helmets.
Right. Well, the European leagues, I don't know which. I think it's the Swedish elite league, maybe the Finnish. I don't know, but they usually it's the top, I don't know if it's of each team or of the league. Whoever's the leading goal scorer or points getter wears a golden helmet.
That's a terrible idea.
It's so gimmicky. It's so gimmicky.
Target on the guy's back. Like if you played in the NHL, like every enforcer would just crush him.
Yeah.
Like look for the gold helmet guy. That's the one you want to get. Really easy to find.
When I saw them first, I was like, "That's kind of cool," but it's so gimmicky. It's very, very wacky, and I really don't know what to say about it.
Yeah,
very Vegas. There you go.
Fred, yeah, like you nailed it. That's true. Like it literally goes with what they are. Like that's the Golden Knights. Like they're a theatrical production every night.
I think they did the right thing, man.
Yeah,
awesome, do it.
But then, like, they were playing Colorado last night, and they were wearing their new thirds, which is like a pretty much majority gold jersey. But then they had the black helmets, which then almost took away from it. Like it almost dulled it down. So it's like I don't know. I think they're still trying to figure it out a good balance of color mixing and matching.
I think they had mercy, is what that is. They had mercy. They're like, we won't really kill you with gold.
Like, grab whatever's on the bucket. Black. Yeah, let's get the black ones.
All right, flip the coin.
Let's take a little break from the usual content to just give a little shout out, because this is kind of what this podcast is about, introducing people to other sports that they might not be completely in tune with. So let's give a little shout out to, I guess, some of the favorite content creators, writers, shows, whatever, that you guys might pay more attention to get your information from your favorite sport. Start with Tyrell.
For NBA, it's always Woj, number one first. I do like Stephen A. I love his banter. I turn on his background noise, and then he'll say something crazy, start yelling, and I'll get into it and all that. But definitely Woj and Stephen A. for sure.
Stephen A. He's definitely brings the entertainment value. It's funny you say you leave it on, and like I can see now you fall asleep with a nap and you just get woken up 2 seconds later. Same thing with like Jay Onright. You just get woken up. Josh, you got anything you pay attention to? Any podcasts, shows, writers?
Actually, there's one that I follow a lot. And I know Fred keeps an eye on this one too, but it's a Steve Dangle podcast. It's kind of Leaf centric, but they dip around on everything a little bit, but they're kind of comedic. So it's definitely great just as entertainment, as something that you can kind of enjoy that is just kind of sports dipped.
Yeah.
A little bit. So like I enjoy it a lot. It's hilarious. So
nice. Anything for you, Fred?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to the exact same. Like, even though they're huge Leaf fans, that's why I love listening to them, because they just shit on the Habs all the time. And now, and especially Adam Weil too, and he's not on the.
He's relentless this year.
He's relentless, right? So I love that he's like, I'm just not solved on the whole Habs thing. I'm like, listen, man, we're right behind you, and I just love it. So the boys they're great.
Nice. Mitch, any stuff that you listen to that you want to give a little shout out to?
I mean, I can't say, I'm not gonna lie, like, it's funny we're kind of doing a podcast, but I'm not a huge podcast guy. I mean, the only real one I say I listen to is Spit and Chicklets, and it's not like they need any more press
more publicity.
But I mean, I like listening to the guys. The guys are hilarious, and they enjoy their stuff. But my big thing is I like when they get the NHL players on, because I find they get a side out of the players